everybody, it's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, March 31st, 2019. My top news of the week is casting news. Y&R has officially recast the role of Adam Newman. I am so excited about this, you guys. It is a really good sign for the new direction of the show. Fans have been asking for a recast of this character, I think begging for a recast of this character since Justin Hartley left the show in 2016. Now, I was a big fan of Justin's portrayal of Adam. I was an even bigger fan, I think, of Michael Mooney's portrayal of Adam. And in the absence of this character being on the show, there was just this really big hole on the canvas that I think needed to be filled. Victor Newman's morally questionable son? Yes, please. It needs to be there. And Y&R, through Mal Young's tenure on the show, tried briefly to force Nicholas into that role, and I don't think it really suits him. I don't think he was ever really able to pull it off. We need to rebuild the Newman empire with Adam and Nick being two sides of that same coin. So reestablishing the character right now could and should have been at the top of the new writers' to-do list, and they have delivered. I could not be more thrilled. It is going to be tricky though, right? This role has to be cast perfectly. And so far, I think the new actor looks the part. I did have a chance to Google him and look at some photos, and he's definitely giving me the dark and sexy vibe. The new actor's name is Mark Grossman. If you want to go and do a little Googling yourself, he has done a decent amount of TV work, and I'm going to trust that the new writers knew what an integral role this was going to be, what a specialized role this was going to be, and I'm going to trust that they have found someone who will really fit the part. I don't know exactly when Adam is going to be coming back onto the show. I'm far more interested in how they're gonna reintroduce the character, because Adam was dead. Chloe exploded him into a million pieces while he was inside a cabin in the woods, probably with a little help from one of those gas fireplaces that all the cabins have. He had been broken out of prison. He was convicted and tried. He's a wanted man. He'd been broken out of prison and then exploded into a million pieces. So I'm not exactly sure how Y&R is going to handle this. Also, when Chelsea fled Genoa City in 2018, just at the beginning of last year, she had been funneling away money from her own company inexplicably, like in an uncharacteristic sort of way, and she decided to flee the country before she did, making a mysterious phone call to somebody right before she left. So my question is, if Adam is going to be returning to Genoa City, then is Chelsea going to be following right along behind him? Honestly, the Wisconsin legislature needs to address the widespread epidemic of these unsafe gas fireplaces. We need some better building codes or something. Nikki and Victoria and Sharon are all trapped inside of the cabin with gas spraying out into the room. JT's passed out on the floor. Victor and Nick and Billy then bust in, each of them rescuing the person that they love the most. It was almost as if they had a little meeting prior where they said, okay boys, we're gonna bust in there and then you just rescue the woman that you care the most about. So Victor rescues Nikki, Billy rescues Victoria, and Nick rescues Sharon. And because his body is worth more living than it is dead, Nick goes back in to rescue JT. Now, JT is in pretty bad shape. He had to be rushed to the hospital where, you guessed it, he's diagnosed with a brain tumor that's been rattling around in his head for years. Dr. Nate himself even confirms that it was most assuredly this brain tumor that was responsible for turning JT into a jerk, an abuser, and an attempted murderer. But luckily, they were able to cut that thing out of his head right away and restore him to the sweet, responsible, and self-accountable human being that JT was before. What do you know? It's a miracle. The women get plopped back into prison, but soon after are completely cleared of all charges. Their sentences are commuted. They are released back into the wild, free and clear. And who is the very first person that Victoria goes to see upon her release? Even before Billy, the man who just saved her life, even before her children, who she hasn't seen in weeks. Victoria goes to the hospital to visit JT, to see him for herself, to listen to his apology and to absorb his earnest request for her forgiveness. In all seriousness, JT really made me cry here. I was very moved by his plea because we spent, as fans, so much time trying to understand him. And then after that, we spent so much time trying to figure out if he was even alive. Throughout the course of Victoria's last part of the relationship with JT, we saw her abuse and her pain. And after everyone thought JT was dead, we saw Reed and his pain and loss over losing his father. And finally hearing JT have a level of self-awareness and a desire to make amends for what he had done, who he had become, even though it was outside of his control. It was a milestone moment. There was just something about it that felt very therapeutic to me. I think Victoria was waiting to hear it. I think it was what she was hoping she would hear when she went to the hospital. It was what I was hoping that we would hear in the hospital. I think she needed that as much as we did. And I guess that's why, on a level, I can understand why Victoria went to see him. I think Victoria needed closure. And so when she shut down when Billy came to visit her at the hospital, he kind of showed up, he followed her there, he had a sense that maybe that's where she had gone. So I understand why she would shut down when she turned around and saw Billy there. Billy had been pressuring her into pursuing a relationship with him for months prior to her arrest, and she told him no. He was relentlessly persisting her, and she kept saying no, just like he's kind of doing now. I feel like Billy needs to just give her a little space, and he refuses to. think that Victoria is just still so screwed up over everything that happened with JT? She was abused by a man who she loved and trusted. And I don't think she ever fully processed what happened to her in that regard. And immediately then, she was turned around and thrust into this whole murder cover-up. She never had a real chance to process and grieve the man the man who she married and had a child, a family, and a marriage with. Victoria also feels extremely guilty for how she handled things with Reed. And Reed is not cutting his mother any slack. For some reason, in Reed's eyes, it seems like he sees JT as the good guy in all of this. The guy who needs to be defended. And maybe that's because he thought his dad was dead, and now he's not, and there's almost an angelic quality that's being projected upon JT. But Victoria, on the other hand, is now this evil witch who's trying to keep his father from him. I mean, brain tumor or no brain tumor, I would like to think that Reed was mature enough to put a little bit more empathy toward understanding what his mother had been through at the hands of this man, father or not. And of course, it didn't help matters that 2 cops had to bust into JT's hospital room right in the middle of his heartwarming reunion with his son. 2 cops. It took 2 cops to bust in like they were busting down a front door, kicking down a hospital curtain, to drag away a man who's on a gurney. I mean, they were reading him his rights loud enough and making enough of a ruckus over it that the nurses were looking in from the hallway. And then the 2 cops just gracefully stepped aside so that Reed could say a goodbye with his father and then turn around and blame Victoria for the whole thing. When is Victoria going to get some peace? I would like that. I would like to see that for her. She went home and ended up smashing apart her living room. And I, for one, was really concerned for her. Smashing things so close to that fireplace. Oh! Didn't want to see a gas valve get accidentally smashed. I just don't know. I feel for her. I understand her. And I want to see her find a way to make peace for herself. You know that she is going to end up testifying on JT's behalf at his trial, because I'm sure that there is going to be a trial. Everybody else has gotten their sentences commuted, but JT is probably still going on trial, and he's probably still going to prison. But I can see Victoria choosing to try to fight for JT's freedom, because that's what her son needs her to do. And also because there's still a part of her that loves him. No doubt. I think that's what she's going to do. And I think that's what's going to end up isolating her from everyone else in her life who loves her. Nikki, Victor, and of course, Billy. Paul and Chris need to take some accountability when it comes to JT Hellstrom. Christine goes to the hospital to visit JT, telling him that she is going to charge him with Victor Newman's attempted murder, but then is also tenderly reminding him of how much Paul loves him. Was Paul loving him when he sent him on this illegal spy job? This illegal spy job to keep an eye on Victor, to get dirt on Victor? Paul and Christine were the ones who put JT in that position in the first place. That's right, Paul Williams, Mr. was just calling out Rey 5 minutes ago for not being by the book enough, is the one who set this into motion for JT, for who set this crime into good job at the GCPD or with the FBI or something at the end of all of this? The only reason JT took that position was because he wanted a good job at the end of this, and Paul and Christine had promised him that, and then they both went back on their word and took it away. Rey takes all of the heat for the JT sting operation from last week. Paul comes back into town with some extra vim and vigor, I might add. Paul was ready to roast Rey's marshmallows over an open fire. I mean, Paul came at him hard. Rey was covering for everybody else. He didn't want to implicate Nick and Billy and everyone else who was involved, but Rey ended up getting himself fired from the job that he loves, from the career that means everything to him, the career that's tied into his identity. I mean, this is everything we know about Rey. Doesn't seem consistent for Rey that he would just roll over and take it, but I think it's pretty clear what the priority is here. The woman that he loves, Sharon, is the priority here. And Sharon is just so grateful to Rey for sending her to prison and then helping her to get out of prison. Oh, it's just so romantic. I can hardly contain myself. I mean, Sharon and Rey are hot, okay? They are definitely hot. The kiss at his apartment that was months in the making, I mean, that was like a bubble that was beautifully burst. I really enjoyed that. But part of me feels like it's not gonna last, and part of me is still committed to Nick and Sharon because that pizza between Nick and Sharon was pretty good. They had her little pizza housewarming party after she got released from prison, and when Sharon offered Nick her extra crust, I was like, ooh, Nick, why don't you go ahead and take it? Why don't you go ahead and take Sharon's extra crust? I can't help myself. I love Nick and Sharon, and I want to see them ultimately back together. I felt robbed of the relationship and the marriage that they were supposed to have. I hate to say it though, the conversation that they had post-pizza sounded a lot like just friends to me. Like they were headed into just friends territory because it seemed like Sharon was encouraging Nick to go back to Phyllis. And it seemed like Nick was telling Sharon that Rey really loves her, and Nick was the one that convinced Sharon to go to Rey. I think he gave her the push to go to Rey. So I just don't know. I mean, I think it would be a really good triangle. I could really get into a Rey, Sharon, Nick triangle. I don't know who I would choose. No, I know who I would choose, but can't I have it all? Can't I have a little bit of everything? Because Nick and Sharon are tried and true to me. It hits my heart. It hits all my Y&R buttons. But Rey and Sharon are new and they are intriguing. Now, what's Mia gonna do to ruin it? That's the question on the table right now. Is Mia going to tell Sharon about her pregnancy, in air quotes? Or, I don't know, is Mia actually really pregnant now? Are we gonna rewrite that part of the story? Is she going to somehow use pregnancy, real or imagined, to continue to torture Rey, even now that their relationship is over with absolutely no hope of a return? I mean, Mia made sure that if Rey didn't want her now, he wasn't going to want her anytime. When she told Rey that she had sex with Arturo right there in their living room, I mean, she made real sure to rub his nose in it. If she was gonna light the fire, she was gonna light it big. See, this is just, hell hath no fury. And Mia is furious. I am wondering if Mia is going to end up telling Paul that in addition to all the other crap that Rey pulled that got him fired, I wonder if Mia's gonna tell Paul that Rey covered up her crime against Lola, maybe in exchange for immunity for herself. What if Rey ends up behind bars after all of this is said and done? I don't know. Sharon tries to go to bat to get Rey his job back after Paul fires him. And Paul says, no, I'm not going to rehire Rey, but you're welcome to keep your job, Sharon. How exactly? How? Because these days people get fired over something they post on the internet, and Sharon just dragged what she thought was a dead body across town, buried it in a deep old hole. She was on trial for murder a week ago. Keeping her on staff cannot look good for the GCPD. I don't know. Oh well. Sharon only took that job to fall in love with Rey in the first place. So when Paul doesn't agree to take Rey back onto the force, then Sharon quits her job there so that she can spend more time at the coffee house where Rey lives upstairs. I am kind of happy though to see Sharon out of the police station and into her coffee house. I want Sharon there. That's where I want her. That's where I need her. That's where I like her. And who knows, maybe she'll hire Rey as her barista or something, and they can be a little duo running the coffee shop. From the looks of next week's preview, Rey and Sharon are going to be going on their first date, getting real cozy on the date and getting a little cozy after the date. I think we need to figure out how the Y&R chatters are feeling about Sharon and Rey. That's our poll question for the week. Sharon and Rey, do you want to see them make love, or do you want to see them just move on? YRChat.com is the website if you'd like to vote in that poll. Vote for Sharon and Rey yes, or Sharon and Rey no thank you. I worry that it's going to be a no thank you no matter what, because I mean Sharon and Rey are in this like instant love bubble. And I just don't see how it's gonna last. Sharon and Rey super happy while Mia is lurking off in the shadows somewhere. I just have a feeling that these two lovebirds are not going to have the happy ending that they are hoping for. One happy ending that I didn't want to fail to appreciate. It's something so small and yet something so ordinary in the world of soap operas. Victor gives Nikki a welcome home diamond necklace. And I don't know, I just love that. I was flooded with an instant endorphin rush. Like Victor showering Nikki with diamonds. Okay, everything is right with the world. Order has been restored to our universe. And I will take diamonds and fur over prison denim and those horrible canvas slip-on shoes any day of the week. Yep, it's confirmed. Jason Canella announced on Twitter on Monday that he is out. He is done with his role as Arturo. It was clear as day. I mean, really. The second that he told Abby all about his one-night stand with Mia electively, and Abby turned around picking up that hammer and destroying his prized pickup truck, and then Rey follows it up with a swift punch to Arturo's face as soon as he finds out that his brother slept with his wife. It was like Y&R set up one scene in that parking garage for a 1-2 punch to send Arturo packing. Like, everybody just go ahead and hate this guy so we can get rid of him and move on. Which is kind of annoying for anybody who was a fan of Arturo's. He's been on the show quite a while. But there was just nowhere else to go, I guess, except maybe to the body shop to get his truck repaired. I think repairing that truck is going to take a lot of work. Abby smashed the window. She smashed the headlights. She smashed around on the body of the car, of the truck, on the sides of it with a hammer. I mean, she was smashing like it was a fireplace poker, and she was smashing up a fireplace. You gotta watch out for stray gas lines around that truck though, Abby. You just never know. You never know when there could be a hidden gas line somewhere. Or when a liver could just fail out of the blue for no reason at all. This is the world we're living in, folks. There could be a gas line anywhere, or your liver could just fail at any point along the way. I don't know. How about the way Abby whipped her purse around her neck when she went to go wield that hammer? She like takes her purse and whips it back behind her around her neck so she could really get down to business. Hey, the truck can be repaired, but all of Arturo's other relationships cannot. He managed to somehow alienate everyone in his life in the span of one day. Even Mia hates him now. And he hates her. You know what really bothered me though? Is how Lola seemed very callous about everything that happened with Arturo. Lola, when Rey told her what had happened between Arturo and Mia, Lola was laughing at the idea that Abby smashed up Arturo's truck. Oh, ha ha ha, Arturo's life is falling apart. That doesn't make sense to me. And I'm not blaming Lola's character because I think it's the quickie writing, but Arturo is her brother too. Arturo was the one who was there by Lola's bedside while Rey was off fighting crime. I just think there should be more of an acknowledgement that maybe Arturo is going through something now too. I just can't help but feel bad for Arturo because he was deemed disposable by the new writers. And he just looked like such a sad, chumpy dog standing there with all those roses, begging for Abby's forgiveness, insisting that he loves her, that he's always loved her. And it feels like an injustice to anyone who actually liked the couple for Abby to stand there responding to him saying that, oh, you never loved me. You only loved me for my fame and my money. And that's never the impression that I got. I don't think that's who Arturo is or was. It feels like it's just sacrificing Arturo at this point, and also, as a bonus, trying to bolster Abby. I mean, Abby said it herself and confirmed it herself this week. This is the new Abby. And Abby's putting all of her eggs into this restaurant basket with all of the ruthlessness that she could muster in her Newman blood to serve sopapillas to this town. Quitting her job at Dark Horse? I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't have the confidence that this actress is going to be able to pull off whatever direction they're about to send her in, this new version of Abby. And I don't mean to seem mean or overly critical, but I don't know why Y&R refuses to just recast this role. Melissa Ordway is just not right for it. She's not an awful actress or anything, but even with the writing revamp, the charisma is just not there. I don't think I ever got over the Marcy Rylan version of Abby, but I do think that the character of Abby is an important one. I want her to be magic. But babe, I had to marry my ex in order to save your life. Only in soaps. Only in soaps. When Lola wakes up from her surgery, she thinks that Kyle and she are still an item. And he's right there by her bedside waiting to see her open her eyes. And she tells him, when she opens her eyes, that he can go ahead and give her a kiss if he'd like. And Kyle has to tell her, there's kind of a few things that we need to talk about. The first and foremost being that, you know, that girl who you don't have a real great relationship with, who kind of dislikes you? Yeah, Summer, she's the donor. She's your liver donor. Of course, Kyle downplayed that. You know your little chief rival in town there? Yeah, she gave you the gift of life. And Lola knew right away that something didn't seem right about that equation. So she looks at Kyle and says, what's going on? What did you do? And Kyle has to reveal, I married her. Okay. Maybe we can work with this, Lola's thinking. So, you married her. Did you sleep with her? Well, I think that says a lot. And I think it was very mature for once of Lola to take that information and to say to him, okay, well, maybe this is just fate's way of showing us how it needs to be. And she sends him away. And she begins to cry. And she's crying so hard that she's holding her abdomen where she's just gotten out of surgery. I mean, it was cruel. Life is cruel. I mean, this is a cruel, cruel twist of fate for her. And of course, Kyle was trying to explain, but he also knows that these are the consequences of getting Lola her life back. I felt for them both. I felt for Lola. I felt for Kyle. Were these Kyle's first crying scenes since the character's been on the show? I don't know if we've ever really seen him crying before, but Michael Milor was very, very good. Very, very believable. Both Lola and Kyle were so sympathetic. I believed them. Now, Summer's just one room over, and Lola, having figured this out, actually does go over to Summer's room, and she is able to bring herself to say thank you. Thank you for the liver. Thank you what you've done for me. You've given me my life back. But let's hope that this is the last time we ever have to see each other, okay? Okay. Yeah, right. As if that's gonna happen. Kyle takes Summer home, and they're pretending for about 5 minutes that they're just getting home from their honeymoon, and then they just decide to tell everyone the truth. It's like, okay, all right, I guess all of that's just falling away. There was, though, a scene where Jack is thinking he's going to give the happy couple a welcome home newlyweds party, which Abby totally crashes by getting drunk and making really negative comments about love and relationships. Of course, we all know where she's coming from, and I loved the looks on Kyle and Summer's face as they're realizing there's a little bit more going on here, and I loved the look on Jack's face when he's practically having to pry the bottle of champagne out of Abby's hand. But I did not love the performance by Abby. I'm sorry, these are really juicy opportunities that I felt fell kind of flat. It could have been way more fun, and it just wasn't. I'm being biased, and I promise I will put it aside next week. But this week, I just feel that this was a really great opportunity for the actress to shine, and she just didn't nail it. Even drunk Abby did not pull me in to her story and her character and did not fully entertain me. There was just something that was muted and still boring about her. Sorry. I was far more entertained by Jack in those scenes. I think it's interesting that the veil of secrecy around what Summer and Kyle had just been through is now gone away. I think it probably would have been a little bit more fun even to let Jack go on thinking that the big secret between Summer and Kyle was just that Summer was pregnant. It really broke my heart when Jack went to go talk to Summer privately to tell her that he does know the truth about the surgery and to get some more information out of Summer as to what her feelings are, where she is, why she's going through with the relationship and the surgery. And Summer insists to Jack that, yeah, I did give part of my liver to Kyle's ex, but it's only because this was a part of the path of me and Kyle's relationship. Kyle really loves me, and I really love him, and we have a real marriage. It was just heart-wrenching to see the look on Jack's face, not really wanting to tell Summer that she's wrong, and yet knowing that she's wrong. Doesn't have the heart to tell Summer that Kyle's heart still belongs to Lola. Then in fact, Kyle's downstairs texting Lola right now, basically setting himself up into a position where he can just cheat on Summer. That he can just have his cake and eat it too. And let me tell you, I was really pissed at him for that. Giving Summer this lip service on the one side while sneaking off to send those text messages to Lola. You get home okay, girl? You okay? I miss you. I miss you. No, sir. No, you do not get to have both. Nobody forced you to marry Summer. Nobody even forced you to suggest the idea of marrying Summer, and damn sure nobody forced you to have sex with her. You made your bed, you lie in it, and you go on and let Lola live her life. You let Lola follow her dreams, and you either follow through with your commitment to Summer, or you be honest with Summer and end the sham marriage. Those are your only two options. I was glad that Jack pretty much reinforced that, said the same thing, because somebody needed to. I also really loved Nick's stern, concerned dad look when he was learning the truth about the little arrangement between his daughter and Kyle. Nick was really good in that scene. That he was putting Kyle into the pressure cooker so that Kyle knows he's given him the benefit of the doubt, but he better not screw this up, which you know Kyle will, especially now that Kyle and Summer are going to be living on a property that protective dad Nick owns. Nick, as a wedding gift, gives Kyle and Summer his dream home. The home that he wanted to build to share with Chelsea. Chelsea. Chelsea coming up right now. That's interesting. I think it's wonderful that we might have a new set. That would be phenomenal, but it's not going to be fun for Kyle because on top of being trapped in this marriage with Summer, he's also now trapped living in her family home. Another interesting moment in that scene between Nick and Kyle. Nick asks Kyle why things didn't work out with Lola exactly. And Kyle's response was, well, it was because I wasn't being honest. I was really always in love with Summer. Flashback to Kyle just a couple minutes ago sending these longing, lonely text messages to Lola. Kyle is so clearly lying to himself. He's lying to Summer, and he's lying to everyone else too. If Kyle could get away with it, he would be the one bringing Lola the bone broth. I am getting a little tired of Mariah's role in Kyle's life. She comes to the hospital right after the surgery has been completed, corners Kyle in the hallway, and tells him, "You're an idiot." Like, that's so rude. Why would you talk to a friend that way? It's a really unappealing part of her personality. She's coming off as pushy and nosy, and worst of all, judgmental. Like, I don't mind her being nosy as much as I do the fact that she's judging him and putting forth her own agenda and her own ideals onto him. She wouldn't like that very much if anyone was doing that to her. And also, going to Summer who's actually done something selfish. You know, her reasons are questionable, of course, but she's actually gone through with doing something selfless, saving someone's life, and Mariah going to Summer fresh out of her surgery, number one, tattling on Kyle, planting a little seed of doubt in Summer's mind, saying that, oh, Kyle's with Lola right now. And then, number two, rubbing Summer's face in it, saying she just feels sorry for Summer. I mean, I don't know. Does Mariah really hate Summer that much to want to find her in a really, really weakened state and then kick her while she's down? None of this is Mariah's business anyway. Mariah needed to be focusing on Tessa and her impending court case. Oh, wait, never mind. Christine has decided, out of the goodness of her heart, to just drop the extortion charges against Tessa. Why? Why again? Was there an actual reason given? Tessa's case was totally unrelated to JT's, was totally unrelated to the other women. I mean, I don't have a problem with Tessa not going to prison, but I don't understand the reason behind it. Did they even give a reason behind it? I don't know. I guess the reason behind it is just to move on from the storylines. I suppose that's fine. The new writers are certainly making their intentions clear. I would say the fact that Tessa's charges have been dropped and her and Mariah were at the coffee house toasting over cupcakes and dancing in front of the jukebox means that we're going to be seeing a whole lot more of Tessa and maybe even a return to her music career. Jet's health condition is not life-threatening. Yay! That makes me so happy because it means we get to keep him. And as soon as he gets those nodes removed from his vocal cords successfully, we are surely going to get one hell of a duet between father and daughter. You know how much I'd love that. Oh, and in the meantime, it would just clearly be best for everybody if Jet and Elena moved in with Anna and Devon, just one big happy family. I mean, I do love this. Devon's house should be filled with love and laughter and family. I support that so much, especially now that Neil will be gone. I'm thinking that Y&R is going to inherit Neil's condo to Nate and create a little triangle between Nate and Elena and Devon. After all, we did learn this week that Elena is not just a simple caretaker, she's also a doctor. So I'm imagining that as soon as Jet's surgery is successful, Elena's gonna get hired on at the hospital and be spending a whole lot of time with Dr. Nate. Casting news. Brooks Darnell is out as Nate. Y&R has recast the role of Nate. The new actor's name is Sean Dominique. Why? But why recast Nate? I mean, nothing against the new guy. I don't know him at all. But the news of the Nate recast made me want to pick up a chair and throw it across the room. Honest to God, I had an actual thought in my head when I read the news in Soaps in Depth that they recast this role that I wanted genuinely to pick up the chair next to me and smash it through the window. I love Brooks Darnell. Number one, he's hot, okay? To me, he's hotter than this new guy. But number two, Brooks is so soulful. He's soulful. Like his tone and his delivery of his lines is so right. And it is not his fault that Y&R made the character of Nate annoying and preachy. We didn't need a new guy. We just needed Y&R to give the current guy something good to do. I really liked the rapport that Nate had going on with Devon, and I really liked his interactions with the rest of the cast. I liked him doing his yoga poses and his jujitsu. I just felt like that was a cool, unique vibe that was being brought to the show via this actor. He seemed like a perfect fit for me in my bedroom. I mean, maybe he chose to, I suppose it's possible he chose to leave the show on his own, but I think that I just can only imagine that Y&R's just working toward building up this Nate, Elena, Devon triangle. Maybe the new guy will be good and I won't even worry about it in a couple of months and years. The whole Devon-Elena relationship is written in honeycomb. I mean, they go out for coffee. They're kind of having their unofficial first date. She's telling Devon her life story, and she mentions all about how she's just kind of in life used to buzzing around. She's just used to buzzing around. Okay, well, clearly that hit a nerve in Devon, and clearly that was meant to give us as fans a little bit of a signal. It was almost as if Hillary was speaking to us all from the great beyond, letting Devon know that it's okay to love triangle again. Okay, I mean, the only thing I don't love about it is the foregone conclusion. The fact that it's so obvious. Isn't it a little odd that they're going to be living together first and then falling in love? Isn't that kind of a backwards way to do it? Oh, wow. It finally happened. After all these years, really. Lily served Kane with divorce papers. I mean, it only took her a couple of months to mull over the fact that Kane had kissed Victoria, and then she just decided out of the blue to end it. I mean, I'm sad, but it's also odd that she waited so long to do it. Every day she's getting closer and closer to her release. Every day she's getting closer and closer to reclaiming her life, but maybe that's not the life that she wants to reclaim. Maybe she just decides that she's not going to be able to make it work even when she does get out. Maybe she's just tired of him, tired of all of this, and decides to end it. I mean, I don't think that Crystal Khalil is going to be returning to the show anytime soon. Kane says he's gonna vow to fight for their marriage, but I don't know. I don't think so. He tears up the divorce papers and then asks Michael to talk to Lily on his behalf, but I think Crystal Khalil's salary is spoken for. I don't think she's coming back, and I don't necessarily think it's a coincidence that Y&R is freeing up Kane, making him a little free bird, just at the same time that Victoria is becoming a little free bird. I don't know, though, what this means for the twins. I mean, they got trotted out into the scenes this week, and it's just almost like, okay, two twins, enter stage left, say lines, goodbye. I mean, I don't really think that the twins have a very strong purpose on the show right now. There's not a whole lot of other teens for them to interact with, aside from Reed. I don't know. I feel sad, though, because I really quite like Charlie. I think he's got a great personality, and I thought it was very insightful of Charlie to realize that his parents were probably divorcing because Dad probably went out and cheated again. Saving the best for last, the twist that nobody saw completely coming. Ashley's master plan, which this master plan is second only to Ashley's master plan that had Jack looking for his true paternity for an entire year last year. At least we only had to endure this predictable twist for 1 week, not for 1 year. And at least it gave us a little bit of our Abbotts again. I mean, you know, I always think it's a pleasure to see Tracy. Her demeanor is just so lovely. I think it's very clear that we are seeing more Tracy as a result of that Y&R poll. I think the Y&R chatters came out to vote in that poll and voted for more Tracy. Also, it was really good to see Dina too. And I wonder if that was a function of that poll. I think Dina looked lovely. Her hair looks so lovely, lovely. I mean, just Dina has great hair. And she wears it so well, and she was seeming very happy. And Tracy and Jack were commenting on how some days Dina has bad, but some days Dina has good. So, I mean, maybe they're planting a little bit of a seed that we'll still get to see a little bit of her. But most importantly, the seed that they were bringing Dina in to plant was about Ashley. Dina's all of a sudden wondering, where's Ashley? Is Ashley here? Is Ashley coming back? Okay. Well, maybe you should have skipped that. Skip that part so that you didn't totally ruin your reveal. They should not have had Dina talking about Ashley. It would have at least led a little bit more surprise and shock to what was coming. The final pieces of Ashley's plan started to fall into place with, of all things, a mail mix-up at Jabot. Phyllis hands Carrie a letter that is addressed to Dominique Carroll. Dominique Carroll, who is that? Well, Carrie tells Phyllis that, oh, it's just an intern, don't worry about it. And then Carrie turns around and sends another text message to PC, letting them know that the final paperwork is in, we're all set, we're all good to go. PC. Premier Cosmetics. The only mystery in this whole thing was who was PC, and we never would have been able to figure that out on our own. PC is apparently an anonymously established cosmetics firm, brand new cosmetics firm that just so happens to own all of the patents to all of the products that Jabot is getting ready to release into the marketplace. So who, or you must be asking, who would want to destroy Jabot's cosmetics like this? Well, this evil plot, this patent subterfuge is being enacted by none other than Ashley Abbott. That's right, it was Ashley all along. For the second time in a year, it was Ashley all along. And she was assisted by her enjoyably devilish sidekick, Carrie. I liked Carrie more this week than I've liked her the entire time she was on the show. Isn't that just the way? You always start liking them right at the end. But Carrie was living for herself this week. She was eating chocolate cake, drinking up Jack's expensive wine. She was practically gliding around the room, smooching up on Jack, just enjoying her life. And poor Jack, having to learn that his girlfriend had duped him and used him. He had to learn it right in front of the entire board of directors of Jabot Cosmetics when Ashley calls an emergency board meeting to play her trump card to show Phyllis that she had been had and to hijack control of the company. Really, the board has absolutely no choice right now. Ashley holds not only the trump card, Ashley holds all of the cards. Jabot is not going to be able to pay Ashley for the patent rights. And they're stuck with all of this product in the warehouse because they're about to launch it. They've got all this product that now they can't legally sell. The board will have to boot Phyllis out on her rear. Phyllis is going to be so unhappy. Maybe she'll go to work at Dark Horse, take Abby's spot at Dark Horse, because, I mean, nobody's going to be working there. Nick is going to have some kind of sidekick. And with the way that Sharon was encouraging Nick to forgive Phyllis last week, I wonder if he's going to give her a job. I don't know. I'm more interested in who's going to take Phyllis's place at Jabot, because we know that Ashley's not sticking around for very long. She's not on long term. I think she was only supposed to be on a couple of episodes, so she can't feasibly take the job, which is ridiculous, by the way, because Ashley spent all of last year trying to get the CEO spot at Jabot, trying to get it and keep it. She could right now be in a position to not only have the CEO spot, but she could also own all the patents to all of the products at Jabot. I mean, she would be the undisputed champion of Jabot right now. It's ridiculous to think that she wouldn't take it. But I'm sure maybe Eileen Davidson just doesn't want to be full-time. So they got to come up with some other excuse. I don't know, maybe Abby would take Ashley's place. That would make the most sense if it wasn't Ashley. That Abby would want to take it. I mean, it's possible. I don't know. I would say Lauren, if not for the previews where Lauren's trying to get out of her contract with Jabot. I mean, who else could it be? Surely not Jack, right? With the feud and everything, the great lengths that Ashley went to. I mean, unless this is part of her trying to make an amends with Jack. Is there any way that she would try to get him reinstated as CEO? Surely not. Last week, there was a funny little moment where Jack popped up out of that blanket fort that was a total eyesore over the Abbott living room. And he jumps out at Carrie and says, "Rawr." Our Who Said It quote from last week, "Rawr." So many people got it right. Let me take a deep breath and read them all here. Congratulations. Henry, Jamie, Sly, Sandra, Janice, Shakota, Anna, Naomi, Nancy, Jillian, Gretel22, Nathalie, Michelle, Liz, Jamie D, Lakeitha, Tina Nicole, Ambreen, Jessica, Marianne, and Sherry. You guys all got it right. How about this cute little line? So many baths. So many baths. I think that stuck out to me this week because I've taken so many baths. I'm just starting to get back into baths. I think it's because we bought the new house and the bathtub here actually has jets. So you can turn on the jets and sort of get like a whirlpool massaging action going. And so I've been trying to enjoy that a little bit more. So I'm into my baths. Maybe that's why the line stuck out at me. If it stuck out at you, go to yrchat.com, leave your guess if you know who said it. And if you get it right, I will give you your shout out on next week's chat. Zooperplex says, my guess is there must have been about 50 viewers at most who were shocked to learn that Ashley was behind Carrie's campaign of destruction. The only real secret left was deciphering the initials PC. I so agree. It was a very predictable twist. I think in the minds of these new writers, they're just trying to get where they're going as quickly as possible. It's maybe going to make sense, maybe not going to make sense, but I think they're just trying to smash and grab and get us into a better place, and I'm fine with that. I'm excited to see where they're going. So far, I think most of the decisions they've made have been good, except for the recast of Nate. I just keep wondering though, it's like all of a sudden we're getting a lot of new people and we've only had one cut that we know about so far. I mean, the character of Nate is still staying, but Arturo's the only character that's just gone. So who else is gonna get cut? You can't just keep hiring and building new sets, etc. You have to cut somebody, so who is it? Sandra says, I was excited for Ashley to come back, but that quickly changed when she walked into the office with that smarmy look on her face. With friends like Ashley, who needs enemies? No kidding, Sandra. I screen capped her smarmy look on her face and put it on the website this week. She was looking particularly smarmy. That's a good word for it. And then as it was fading to black on Friday, she was also giving a squinty, dirty look. I'm going to assume to Phyllis. She definitely came back with some extra bitchiness, one might say. We'll see how it goes on Monday. I am excited for what Ashley's going to say on Monday. I don't know how it's going to all play out. That's the unpredictable part of it, is how's it going to shake out for Jabot? Who will the new leadership be? Soapy Llama says, I was about to commend Carrie / Dominique's actress, Alice Hunter, for her perfect European accent, only to find out that she's actually British. Can you believe she imitated an American accent for months now so expertly? No, I didn't know that at all. Had no clue that she was British, but she did have that wonderful little moment where she revealed it. What I think she said, c'est moi, letting Jack know that it's me, Dominique is me. I think I would like to keep her on as Dominique. I was feeling the way, like she was just really relaxed and really feeling herself this week. She was funner this week than ever. Oh, let's see, what else here? Oh, this is good. Oh, Daisy says, Dina needs to have a twin. Wouldn't it be fabulous if Marla Adams was on the show more, but as 2 characters? I think Y&R could utilize her talents and write a great storyline with her estranged twin coming to town. That's a way out of the Alzheimer's. You hit it, Daisy. A twin is a great way out of the Alzheimer's and a way to get Dina back. Okay, of all the twin twists that I would be okay with, that's a good one. Oh, I wish. Oh, I wish. Really, really nice. Nice one. Diana says, I think Billy needs to retake the course on CPR again. He kept pumping Victoria's chest without giving her any mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. He also seemed rather calm while doing it, not like it was a life-threatening situation. It was like Victoria was a dummy that's used in the class and not the love of his life as he claims she is. Shouldn't Billy have been a little more panicked? I noticed that too, Diana. Like all of a sudden everybody comes out of the cabin. Victor's attending to Nikki, but she's conscious. Sharon's perfectly fine. But Victoria was unconscious on the ground and Billy was just sort of lightly doing CPR on her. Wouldn't Nikki and Victor have gotten up and rushed over to her if they could? Wouldn't Billy have been like, get some paramedics here? I mean, it seemed like all the focus was on JT and Billy was just lightly blah, blah, blahing in the background. I hope, again, that this is just the writers going, okay, we're just going to make this quick. We're going for quick, not realistic. I hope that it's not a signal of how things are going to be handled, because I agree that situation seemed really off and I noticed it too. Kyle says, isn't it interesting how Nikki's MS flares up over a little concert in the park, and yet she's just fine for weeks and weeks in jail? Yes, yes, Kyle. That's funny. Kyle also says, here's my proposed JT storyline. Cricket throws the book at him and he gets locked up, while we get weekly check-ins, ideally in the jail gym, where we see how he maintains that hunky physique while plotting his revenge on the Denzians of Genoa City, of course. Well, Kyle, as a matter of fact, I was surprised at last week's poll results that 45% of Y&R chatters were in favor of sending JT to prison. I really kind of thought that maybe the majority vote would go toward reforming him, but that was 44%, and then we had 11% of people hoping to just kill JT some more. I think maybe we're going to get the best of both worlds. I think maybe they're going to reform him and then send him to prison and maybe have him released or bring him back in a little bit. I just, again, I'm wondering where Y&R's getting the money for all these salaries. I don't know that they're going to bring Chad Luckenbill on full time. I don't know that they have the budget for it. I don't know if he has the desire for it. I wish. I'm really getting into it now. We'll find out. Joan said she would like to see JT reformed. The cause of his aggressive, twisted behavior could be caused by a brain tumor, and after removing it, his charge could change to temporary insanity. That's a good idea. I wonder if perhaps there will be a defense against JT that's temporary insanity. He had the brain tumor. I'm sure there could be some kind of argument made that he wasn't in control of his own facilities. I mean, temporary insanity is not usually an accepted plea, but it's certainly possible that Y&R will do it to do a quickie ending to that story. Good catch. Lynn says, 2 words, reform him. That's my hope. Y&R writers should do that for the character of JT Hellstrom. So many storyline possibilities for him, and the different writing directions could go with the character. Yeah, I think JT has a lot of potential, so that was my vote too. I wanted to see Y&R reform him. Robbie says, I am so happy for all the fans that are excited about Paul's return, and I'm definitely feeding off of that energy, but I have to say, Paul is so boring. I appreciate his longevity on the show, but he's never had a storyline that I've cared about. So his return's just kind of whatever for me. Well, I appreciate your honesty, Robbie, because admittedly, it is not that Paul is some dynamic character, right? I mean, he doesn't have a whole lot of action. I think it's more for me that Paul is a comfort character. He's always been there, and I like him overall. He's you know, you can't, not every character can be dynamic. You sometimes do need the good guy. You need to have the straight edge for the other people to play off of. But I feel like more than anything else, my chills and my feeling of enthusiasm for Paul coming back were because I felt like Mal Young dogged him hard in the end. I mean, after all of his time on the show, I think that Doug Davidson deserved better than to be like quietly written off the show, a quietly unrenewed contract. That just wasn't right. Oh, Superplex says, the more I think about it, the more I'm convinced that Mia will kill Rey. I think it's a little bit suspicious that Sharon and Rey are very happy right now, happily ever after, and we have not heard the last of Mia. Y&R has pushed her to the edge. I think we can kind of get the idea that Arturo's just going to disappear, especially from the casting notice, but we haven't heard anything about the actress who plays Mia. As far as we know, she's sticking around at least for the next couple of weeks, and she's desperate. She's going to do something. I'm wondering if it's going to be a confession about Rey covering up her crime and sending Rey to jail. But as you mentioned, there's every possibility they're going to send somebody out with an even bigger bang. Mia is a loose cannon, and she could do something such as kill Rey and end the little love bubble between him and Sharon. T. Nicole says, not gonna lie, I love truck smashing Abby. Well, I want to make sure that I give plenty of space to the people who are fans of Abby, fans of Melissa Ordway. You know, I've gone through phases with her, and I'm currently in a down phase with her. I've just never connected with the actress, and I'm sure she would be perfectly fine in another role. I think a lot of the way I feel is affected by the previous actress who played the role. I think I had kind of a preconceived notion of who the naked heiress is, and Melissa Ordway just has never filled it for me. I want Abby to be spunky and impulsive and daring, and I don't think that those qualities are what I'm getting from the current actress's portrayal. But I don't want to take away from anybody who loves her by any means, so I hope nobody takes it that way. Gary says, I like the way that Abby, after firing Arturo from Nick's company in a rage the day before, tells Nick that he can hire him back if he wants to. He's a really good contractor. He's just a terrible boyfriend. Oh, Gary says, what a difference a day makes. I thought that too. Like, wait a minute. You used your position at Dark Horse, which, as far as I know, is a real estate developing company, to like fire their head contractor guy, then you quit your job and gracefully give Nick permission to hire his lead contractor back? How nice of you, Abby. I mean, you're leaving Nick dangling off in the wind now without a lead contractor and without a marketing executive. Dark Horse is going to be in trouble. He's going to have to hire Phyllis. Gary also says, assuming that all goes as planned, Y&R may have made a wise choice of not keeping Lola in the doldrums, but moving her forward with the restaurant. They put a genuine smile on her face. She said it's all she's ever wanted, and let's let Kyle deal with the situation of Summer being at his back every time he turns around. Well, I have to say, it sounds like I'm very wrong about the Rosales families. Last week we were speculating, I mean, it was very clear that Arturo was done. But we were speculating also about Rey and Lola and Mia's longevity on the show. I sure don't know. I mean, Y&R obviously knew that Arturo was being written out, and they waited to give the actor the green light to confirm it. I mean, you never know. We could turn around and anybody else could be announcing that they're being cut next week. We just don't know. But it does seem, as you say, Gary, that Lola might be sticking around. I don't know that Abby would offer her this restaurant position and then just yank it away. Yeah, I think it bodes well for Lola. I feel like the jury is still out for Rey and Mia. I know it looks like Rey is about to be in this long-term relationship with Sharon, but I just feel like Mia's gonna do something big. We'll see. We'll see. Ellen says Catherine left her many millions to a very naive Devon. He needs a smart right hand, man or woman, to advise him. He is so gullible. He's already making goo-goo eyes at Elena. Kissy kissy alert, Allie Jr. Do you guys think that Elena is after his money? Because Elena was making sure to go on at length about her debt. And you do make a good point, Ellen, that Devon is a little bit naive. She was looking at him, he was looking at her, and that's what I'm saying. It's a foregone conclusion that there's something romantic gonna go on there. Y&R is gonna have to add some kind of layer of complication. I mean, are they gonna end up making Elena a baddie? I don't know. I don't know enough about the character yet. Don't know anything about the actress yet. But Astra left a comment saying, the lady playing Elena is Brittany Sarpy, and yes, she came from General Hospital, but she wasn't one of the big stars of the show. Her character was only on for a few years and was related to a prominent family, but once she slept with her cousin's husband, I think the fans wrote her off. Also, the writers never did anything with her. She was on recurring pretty much her whole stay on General Hospital. We didn't see her character for like 6 months at a time, and then when she showed up, she only had a few lines to move another character's story along, and that was it. I personally wasn't a fan of Brittany's character on General Hospital. I'm not sure if it was the fact that I never connected with her as an actress. To be fair to her, she never had anything to work with on GH, so I'm willing to give her a chance and see what she does here on Y&R. Well, I am imagining that Y&R must have seen something good in her, so, I mean, we're just going to have to see. I think she's very attractive. I mean, that's all I know about her. She seems very attractive. We haven't really seen her show any acting chops or anything deeper yet, but hopefully Y&R has a plan for her. Hopefully they know what they're doing, but thank you for the insight. I didn't know a thing about her character on General Hospital. Sandra will end on this note, gives us a little casting update, also tying it into other soaps. Sandra says Greg Ricard just wrapped up his role on Days of Our Lives. Wouldn't it be awesome if we got Kevin back to Y&R? I love it. I would love a return of the Baldwin Fisher family. I want Michael and Lauren and Kevin and especially Gloria. Now would be a great time to bring Gloria back. Ted's funny, but I miss Gloria sitting in that reception area. You know what? No, never mind. Gloria's too good for that. She deserves better than the reception area. With Carrie out of the picture, Gloria needs to take her rightful place as Jack's right-hand woman at work and at home and in bed. Gloria's the only person who has made a semi-suitable mate for Jack in the past several years. Okay, chatters, will you let me know what you think about that? YRChat.com is our website. If you want to go there, leave some comments, chat with some other people, chat with me throughout the week. I do love hearing from you, and I love giving you all of my thoughts and opinions about Y&R. It feels good to get it out. So I will be getting it out next Sunday. I hope everybody has a really good week in the meantime, and I will see you then. Love ya. Bye.